Wakefield, and I'm a planner. It's actually so ridiculous that I had my whole life planned out by the time I was 16 years old. I mean literally like until I was 50. I knew exactly what I was going to do, where I was going to be, when I was going to be there. I was going to be married by the time I was 22. That did not happen. But yeah, it's actually been a real struggle for me, and that I have a really hard time surrendering to God.
Hi, I'm Dan, and I'm not a planner. I don't like to plan anything. I like to wing it because it's easy, and plans don't really go through anyway, it seems like. But I mean, in my younger years, I was so against planning. Like, I went through life with no aim, no goals. The only goal I seemed to have back then was to not get married ever. That was not a desire in my life, and I really wasn't about anything. I was just living day to day, doing my own thing. But God had His own plan for me, and as I got closer to God, I started to realize that I was more important than to just go through life doing nothing.
And as we kind of started to follow God's plan, we met, and we got together, and we ended up kind of starting to make our own plans, and in that we were definitely prayerful. We wanted God's direction for our lives, but especially recently, we were definitely facing some really big life decisions. I found out that I might be losing my job, and Dan was going to maybe go on strike at the same time, and we didn't know what was going to go on with his job, and that was really scary, but we were praying about it, and it kind of created this opportunity for us to really think about where we wanted to go next.
So we started making some plans. Some of the things we were looking at doing is possibly opening up our own coffee shop. We kind of really started going on that idea. As always, when you seek God's plan, He's going to show it to you.
Yes, and He definitely laid out the answers for us pretty clearly. We both ended up kind of having the same thoughts and the same desires at the same time. And we actually got to go away for a weekend. We got to go to Indiana and be with Dan's family. And it was just really good for us. It was really relaxing and kind of refocused us a little bit. And during that weekend, we actually found out that Dan was not going on strike and that he was actually going to get a raise. And that later that week we found out I was actually keeping my job. My company was not going out of business. Stop it. And so that was all kind of even bringing about the other desires that God had placed on our heart even more, and it just made it very clear that God was leading us in this one direction.
We found with just talking with each other, as married couples do.
Sometimes.
But with talking with each other, we both found out that we had a desire that we actually had planned further down the road.
Yes.
And that desire was for us to have a baby.
So
we both were on that. So we found out as soon as you go, and as soon as what?
Yeah.
So as soon as you get on God's plan works really fast.
So we're having a baby.
Yeah.
And obviously, it's a new chapter. We're really, really excited, but with that new chapter comes a whole new set of worry and anxiety and planning. We know that God's plan is always good for us, and so we have comfort and peace in knowing that God has an awesome plan for us, regardless of what it might be, and we're really excited to see where this journey takes us. So
yeah, it's Isaiah 55, 8-9, and that says, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. For the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts." Baby!